In economics, a commonly discussed theoretical market structure is the perfectly competitive market. In this theory, all businesses in the market are in perfect competition and there are no monopolies. Today, we're going to discuss the conditions required for a perfectly competitive market and how perfectly competitive firms act in response to the market. There are 4 conditions that occur for firms to be in perfect competition. First, many businesses produce identical products. Let's say classic teddy bears are all the rage on the market. In order for the teddy bear market to be perfectly competitive, many different firms produce the same teddy bear. Secondly, there must be many sellers available to sell the product and many buyers available to buy it. So people have to be crazy for teddy bears and willing to spend their money on them and sellers to fulfill that need. Third, in order to make rational decisions about buying and selling a product, buyers and sellers have to have all the relevant information about the product. Lastly, firms are in a perfectly competitive market when there is free entry into and free exit out of the market. No one has an exclusive right to teddy bears, therefore businesses can start producing teddy bears and enter the market, or stop producing and leave the market without any restrictions. Perfectly competitive firms are also known as price takers. This is because the firms are forced to take the prevailing equilibrium price in the market as a result of the pressures of competing firms. If the firm raises the prices of their products, they will lose their sales to competing firms. Perfectly competitive firms can't charge above the equilibrium price because they will lose their buyers to the competition, but they also won't sell below the equilibrium price. Why would they? If buyers are willing to buy for a higher price, firms will always sell at it to make the most profit. Market price is solely determined by supply and demand, not by the individual suppliers. Therefore, a perfectly competitive firm must play a small role in the overall market. This way, they can increase or decrease output without noticeable affecting price and the overall quantity supplied in the market. In the short run, perfectly competitive firms will react by producing the quantity of output where profits are highest. Sometimes profits are not possible, so the firms will mitigate losses by setting the quantity and price where the losses are the lowest. In the long run, competition will be attracted to and enter the market if there is economic profit. If there is economic loss, firms will exit the market. A perfectly competitive market will reach long-term equilibrium when no firms want to exit the market and no new firms want to enter it. In other words, when the economic profits are driven down to zero. One real-life example of a market that acts like a perfectly competitive market is agriculture. While not the exact same, the products in this market are very similar. Carrots, potatoes, grain, corn. These are very generic products with many farmers producing each agricultural product. It's also very easy to enter and leave the market. Potatoes are sold in a unit called a hundredweight. If a hundredweight of potatoes is $1, a farmer trying to sell their potatoes for $2 would not have any buyers because they are selling above the equilibrium price. That's all for now on perfectly competitive markets. For the most part, perfectly competitive markets are a hypothetical extreme because most markets do not reach the criteria to be perfectly competitive. In essence, it's just a theory, but an ideal theory where every buyer and seller has all the information, aka perfect.